pretty much live.
We're alive.
You ready to talk about this movie? It's like David Fincher Friday. We did Fight Club, now we're doing Gone Girl.
Yeah, but we didn't do Fight Club on a Friday.
This is important because this is the second time, like, we're repeating a director.
Right, and you picked the first movie, and I picked the second one.
Right, so we're Fincher fans.
I guess so.
That's pretty kind of cool.
Although yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. We don't have to talk about how you felt about Fight Club, I guess.
We already did that.
Yeah, we did Fight Club. It's a good show, though. Two-bottler. Two-hander.
Oh, that's true. We did end up two bottles.
Amazing, right? Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and your sommelier of cinema. And I'm here with my compatriot, companion, and partner in crime, as they said in this movie.
Oh, boy.
Who might you be?
Oh, I am Elizabeth Gwendolyn Bell. I am the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence, and the enchantress of entertainment.
The enchantress of entertainment. And this is our 41st episode.
41. Wow.
41. We're one step away from being the episode about life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah.
Which is 42, but we're not there yet.
Oh, we were going to do...
Yeah, but it's okay. We got something else. It's fine.
Oh, we were going to... But that would fit into our science fiction thing.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all right. We'll talk about that later.
Oh.
It's cool. We got something better planned.
We do.
We got a whole week planned.
We can say what it is.
Why don't you say what it is?
Okay, so next week is Science Fiction Week, and we are going to do AI on Monday, Ex Machina on Wednesday, and Passengers on Friday.
Passengers for Rapey Romantic Friday.
That's right.
Like this movie is.
Rapey Romantic Friday.
Watch, I just got canceled again on Twitter.
Oh, shit.
People are like, you shouldn't make fun of that. It's a joke. It's a dark, sardonic joke. But if you look at the reviews for what people said about Passengers,
yeah,
I'm just referring to the reviews before
they
everybody gets all.
Space rape.
They did call it space rape. They did, but
we'll discuss it, and we will discuss whether it is space rape or not.
We will discuss whether or not. I mean, it's not like Life Force, which is kind of coercion.
Right.
So anyway, but that's not what we're here to discuss tonight. We're here to discuss David Fincher's adaptation of Gillian Flynn's novel, her 2012 novel, Gone Girl. The movie came out, which she also wrote the screenplay for, 2 years later, and I believe, if memory serves, it's the last feature film that David Fincher's directed before going on to doing Mindhunter.
Which I love.
And which is very sad because David Fincher is one of my favorite directors working today.
Why is it sad? He's doing Mindhunters.
Well, he is doing Mindhunters. He's also actually directing Mank, about Herman Mankiewicz during the writing of Citizen Kane right now. He's directing it right now.
Oh.
So he's coming
right
back.
Now? How can he be doing that when we're in a pandemic?
I know. Well, first of all, before you get in, we are drinking another bottle of wine from Claude and Candida.
Yes, we are.
They hipped us to a bottle of Claude Dubois Chardonnay.
Yep.
I've had this before. It's a fine Chardonnay. We haven't had a Chard for a while on the show.
We haven't.
Healthy pour for you.
Why, thank you.
And, of course, a healthy pour for me. So let's drink to David Fincher's 2014. It's the most biggest hit of his career, by the way, worldwide. So cheers to that.
Bigger than Fight Club?
Bigger than Fight Club. Ooh. Fight Club did not do very well.
Oh, I see why.
Come on, man. Let's not rip on Fight Club. Let's talk about this movie.
Yeah, because we already did Fight Club.
So you picked this movie, Elizabeth.
I did pick this movie.
So what is this movie about?
Romance.
It is about romance. It's about romance and marriage.
It is.
And how do you keep your marriage spicy?
It's a very spicy marriage.
It's a very spicy marriage. Well, cheers to... We didn't drink. I like Chardonnay. Sorry, so what is this movie about?
Well, it starts off with the couple meeting at a party.
Well, we haven't got actually something else has happened before that.
Oh, I forgot what.
Well, it opens with Ben Affleck. His wife disappears.
Oh, right.
Ben Affleck
No, it opens with him stroking her hair, and he says he wants to bash her head in.
He wants to bash her head in. That's right. The first thing you see, he's stroking her hair, and then Rosamund Pike, who plays his wife, the amazing Amy, looks up
Amy.
and she's beautiful, and then he says he wants to bash her head in.
Yeah, he wants to bash her head in, and he asks, "What did we do to? How did we end up? I don't know.
How did we end up here?"
Yeah.
Which, in a way, parallels the opening of Fight Club. We just don't know about that.
Right.
You know, Fight Club opens with, I guess, what you would call the present day, and then the rest of the movie.
Well, like, if you remember, I did like the beginning of Fight Club.
Right. You did like that. I know. So this is a device Fincher is returning to?
Yes.
So Ben Affleck plays Nick Dunn, and Rosamund Pike is Amy Elliott Dunn, Nick's wife.
Yes.
And she's missing in the beginning of the movie.
Well, no, she's not missing.
Well, no, these are flashbacks you're talking about.
I don't think she's missing in the beginning of the movie.
I think
He's
she is.
stroking her hair.
Yeah, but that's because it's a... Okay, I'll just allow you to continue. Why don't you tell me...
I don't remember her being missing.
Tell me what you thought. How did this movie begin?
Well, I don't know. Remind me then.
Well, on their 5th wedding anniversary, writing teacher Nick Dunn returns home to find his wife Amy missing.
Yeah, that's okay. That's after they tell the story of how they met.
No, it goes back into that.
Oh.
So yes, we're not doing very good
Well,
tonight.
you know what? You always like to start these movies late at night, and then I fall asleep.
I didn't start this one that late.
So
at
then
night.
we have to rewatch it the next day.
Okay. Anyway, so Ben Affleck, a writing teacher, they are living in the Midwest. They were living in New York.
No, they were living in New York.
No, but they're where they are now.
Oh my God, we can't even get to the beginning of this film.
The beginning of this film is Ben Affleck. They live in a nice suburban neighborhood.
Right.
He comes home after visiting his sister, played by Carrie Coon,
Right.
who's married to Tracy Letts, who's an amazing actress.
Mm-hmm.
She is his twin sister.
Right.
He goes to the bar that they jointly own in
Right,
town,
and he
the
says
bar.
it's their anniversary.
It's their anniversary. He sets up the whole story. It's their anniversary, and every anniversary she does a little scavenger hunt for him. This is their 5th anniversary, and they have a very funny kind of knowing relationship because they're twins. So Ben Affleck goes home from visiting his sister.
Well, his neighbor calls him.
That's right. His neighbor calls him.
His neighbor calls him and says, "Your door is open."
And the dog is outside.
Right. So he goes home.
He goes home.
He goes home and he goes inside and he's calling for his wife, and then he notices the glass coffee table is broken.
Signs of struggle.
And the ottoman is turned upside down.
And so it looks like something nefarious has happened. His wife is missing. We don't know why.
Yeah.
And so he calls the police.
He calls the police.
Immediately. And let's see. Let me get this straight. I don't want to forget this. Patrick Fugit, who's the star of Almost Famous, that I love, plays a cop in this movie. There's 2 cops.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And
that was him?
Yeah, that was him. Yeah. And Kim Dickens as Detective Rhonda Bonney.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's awesome too. So you got Detective Bonney and you've got Deputy Almost Famous. And Patrick Fugit, Deputy Almost Famous. And they look around the house. And she's a really good detective.
She is.
She doesn't miss a trick.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss a trick.
She sees blood splatter
She
in the
sees
kitchen.
everything.
Yeah,
so very competent. All the casting in this movie is impeccable.
Yeah.
The acting in this movie is incredible, and David Fincher brings his clinical precision to this movie.
Yeah.
It looks like every other David Fincher movie, muted, a tad of green. I mean, the photography, again, shot by Jeff Cronenweth, Jordan Cronenweth's son, who shot Blade Runner. So this movie looks great, and it unfolds, and we, as an audience, think he's like a good guy. Like, he's your normal suburban dude.
Yeah.
And his wife's missing, and then they start jumping into these flashbacks.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
And then we start learning about the marriage, the courtship and marriage of the Dunns, of Amazing Amy and Ben Affleck and Nick Dunn. And they're living in New York. They're both writers. And Amazing Amy comes from Her parents have written a very successful series of children's books
Yes.
about the amazing
about
Amy.
her,
And
about
she says,
amazing
yeah,
Amy.
they say that they played, she says, my parents plagiarized my life.
Yeah.
And they're incredibly wealthy. And I mean, she's hot.
She has a trust fund and lots of money. And initially, their relationship is really good.
They have sex in bookstores in New York City.
Yeah.
It's very steamy. Mm-hmm. They're very witty together. They're
a beautiful couple.
They throw witty bon mots back at one another. I mean,
Yes.
they're just so witty. It looks like they've got everything. They've got it all.
They've got it all.
They've got it all.
Until they both lose their jobs.
They both lose their jobs, and also they have to go back and take care of Ben Affleck's mother, who dies.
Right. Well, what happens is they both lose their jobs, and he ends up being basically a lazy slob and just sits on the couch, and this starts to irritate her.
Well, we don't know that quite yet.
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she doesn't do anything about it at that point.
Right.
And then his mother gets sick with cancer, and he doesn't discuss it with her. He just tells her that they're going to move to, where is it?
The Midwest, Missouri or something.
Yeah, Missouri. And so she does. She moves with him.
But they get a nice house because she's got her trust fund.
They get a nice house. And then shit hits the fan.
Well, so we go in and out of learning about their relationship. We see the flashback, and we see that.
Well, initially you see the flashbacks, but according to what she's writing in her diary, and what she writes is not glowing of Ben Affleck, and as it goes on, like she pretends like she's afraid of him, and she.
Well, yeah, that comes later. Now, let me ask you this: we've both been married.
Yeah.
How do you think that the portrayal of a marriage? I mean, everything sounds great in the beginning, but then it starts to get.
Yeah, it starts to get.
How
really
did you
messy.
think? How did you feel about the portrayal of their marriage? Watching, you're on your best behavior. You're the best person that you can be when you're in the middle of courtship, and then the real you comes out. I mean, everybody wants to be a certain way, and you work really hard. Was that your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And weird and funny fact was, I used to do scavenger hunts for my husband.
Oh shit!
For his birthdays.
Should I start running away? You've never done that for me. I don't have scavenger hunt time.
Yes, they were pretty elaborate too. I would leave clues, and then he'd have to figure them out, and I would involve other people. Yeah. I'm
terrified.
But I've never done that for you.
You've never done. I don't want you to ever do that for me now.
Oh, it's so fun.
No, I don't want any. After seeing this movie, I don't want any scavenger hunting.
Well, I didn't murder my ex-husband, so.
Well, nobody murdered anybody. Oh, wait, we're not there yet.
Oh.
Spoiler alert. Oh, hang on. Because this movie, I have to say, first of all, this book was a huge sensation when it came out. And this is one of those great airport reads. I knew it was coming out. It was delivered to me the day of release. And the day it came out, I got it, and I started reading it, and it was this book is what I call a one-sitter. I sat down and read the whole thing all the way through.
Yeah,
read the book all the way through. So you're watching this, the marriage isn't great and all that, and then suddenly Ben Affleck is now the primary suspect of murdering his wife.
Yes.
And our detectives are on the case.
They are on the case.
And they are doing a good job, and you find out that Ben Affleck has got some hinky stuff going on.
Yeah, you find out that he is having an affair.
He's having an affair with one of his students.
One of his students, a very young girl. Who sounds familiar? Who that hits close to home.
Now, this isn't a therapy session. We're talking about movies. Shh. I don't know what she means.
Oh, there's so many similarities.
I don't know what she means. No, we don't.
In this movie. Except I'm not a psychopath.
Well, thank God for that. So we're finding out this reveal, and Ben Affleck, we as the audience, what I love about this movie is it's very beautifully constructed, just like the novel was. You like Ben Affleck. And he seems like this normal, like, aw shucks dude, like, hey man, how's it going? And then it's revealed, No.
I mean, you like him, but you kind of get like the sense that he's not a great husband. He seems cold. Like in the beginning, he says he wants to bash her head open. So you know that there's something wrong with their relationship. But you also don't feel like he's a bad person. I mean, he's having an affair and everything. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but as it's revealed, you don't know that at first, and then as these things are revealed, you begin to really dislike him.
Yeah, and then you start to wonder. And
then you meet Amy's parents. David Clennon, the great David Clennon, who was so great on 30-something. He was in The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. Plays her father.
Yeah.
And they're very buttoned up in New York,
Yeah, but they're amazing Amy. I think that they probably messed her up growing up.
Oh, I think we know they messed her up. Like she was, but we don't know quite how much yet. So then, as people are searching and they're looking for her and no one knows what's going on and Ben Affleck doesn't really know what's going on, then we're introduced to a new character. The great Neil Patrick Harris.
That's right.
Plays a guy, MPH, who has a past.
I love that dude.
He has a past with her.
He does.
And I just want to point out as an aside, I love Neil Patrick Harris in this role. I mean, everyone knows Neil Patrick Harris is gay in real life.
But that doesn't...
But what I love about this is he's playing a straight dude.
Yeah, which he has many times.
Yes, and I love that. I love that he plays this role to perfection. I love him. I just want to give that because when people are acting, they're acting. You don't have to hire like a Navy SEAL to play a Navy SEAL in a movie. Right. You hire the best actor for the role when you cast it. And they're acting. It's all make-believe. I just want to point that out because people are always coming in, well, so-and-so, they should hire an actor of this or that.
Well, he's an amazing actor.
Exactly.
I mean, he is.
That's what you do. You hire the best person for the role.
Did you ever watch How I Met Your Mother? Like, he was so great.
He's amazing. You hire the best actor for the role, and I love him in this role because he's a little smarmy at first. He's well-dressed. You don't really know much about him, but he comes to look for Amazing Amy. You know they have some kind of a past.
Yep, he seems like a really weird, creepy dude.
And things are going from bad to worse for Ben Affleck.
He's been supposedly stalking her since high school. Mm-hmm. And he sends letters to her and stuff. And Ben Affleck kept one of the letters in this shoebox, so he had his address. So when all of this,
we're not there yet.
Oh,
we're not there yet.
Jumping around.
We're jumping around. So what's happening is the noose is tightening. It's beginning to look more and more that Ben Affleck killed his wife.
Right.
And things are getting...
Well, the detective finds the first clue in her underwear drawer, and then she questions Ben Affleck, what is this? Our first clue number one. Clue number one. The envelope.
No, and
then he explains that she does this scavenger hunt for him every year for their anniversary. So he opens it up and he reads the clue, and then he figures out that where the second clue is. So they go together to the second clue, and he opens it up, but this time he's stumped. Or
all of this is happening, and as you're watching,
he pretends he's stumped because he doesn't want to lead her to the next clue.
Right. And all of this
is all part of the evil plan.
Yeah, but you don't know. It's done in such a way, just like the book. The book was so riveting, but the book was more of a crime thriller kind of a thing. Like you're reading this. This was more. There's a dreamy quality to this movie. Like it's all it's I love it. I love this movie. I have to tell you, I love it. But there's a dreamy quality where we're sort of seeing the world through Ben Affleck's eyes at first, and then we realize the man we thought he was is wrong. So we as an audience, there's a really interesting thing I think that happens. We're with him in the beginning.
At the very beginning.
But then we sort of disassociate. We're starting to like step away from him.
Right. He looks very suspicious.
Suspicious.
And then she starts narrating the things that she had put in her diary. And then you're like, ooh, this guy's a bad guy. But then you're conflicted inside because you think, I don't know.
But then you're like, did he find out she was writing these things? Like, you still wonder, like, did he kill his wife? And what was so interesting, we've seen a million police procedurals, whether it's CSI, we've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of murder mystery stories where we are trained to understand that the person we think is the good guy is really the bad guy.
Right.
Or the good girl is the bad girl.
Right.
You know, we're so...
Right.
But this plays with all of those conventions, and still it's interesting.
It is.
You know, you buy into it, and there's candlelight vigils, and Ben Affleck goes on TV, and he's like, where's my wife?
And
Can
he
you help
ends
me?
up smiling, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, he does all these things.
They use that against him, and then some woman goes up to him and takes a selfie, and he smiles, and then he realizes what he's done, and she won't erase it. And then
the whole community turns against him, and he's sort of a man alone. The only person that sticks by him is his sister.
And then a best friend shows up, and he has no idea who this woman is.
Right.
And that looks very suspicious. Yeah.
And things are looking pretty grim for old Ben Affleck.
Yes, they are.
And then Ben Affleck goes, and another, I think, my favorite casting coup of this movie is Tyler Perry.
Oh my God.
The man who dresses in drag, who also has built an entire production facility in Atlanta. Yes, I know he was the head of Starfleet Academy in Star Trek 09. I understand. But I don't know who thought of this.
Are you sure that's him? I didn't even realize that was him.
Come on, man. You're questioning me?
You better make sure.
Tyler, come on. The best the best thing about
I'm so used to seeing him in a comedy.
No. He is he's so good in this movie.
Film. I mean,
Tyler Perry crushes it.
He's so good.
And I'm like, I know he played Alex Cross, and I've read all the Alex Cross books.
Yeah.
I didn't dig that movie that Rob Cohen directed where he played Alex Cross. Well, he was no Morgan Freeman in that movie. But this was like it starred James Patterson's whole series of books. Along Came a Spider, Jack and Jill, Kiss the Girls. They made Kiss the Girls and Along Came a Spider into a movie. But I've read all those books.
Yeah, I haven't seen those movies.
So anyway, that's an aside. So Tyler Perry is so good, and he plays, what's his name? I forget. His name is Tanner Bolt.
Yeah.
Tanner Bolt,
the lawyer.
who is this high-powered $100,000 retainer lawyer.
Yeah.
And he is
really
just
whippersnapper smart.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, he's so good.
He knows what he's doing.
And he's so suave and just cool. Like, he's awesome. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't know, like, he buys into Ben Affleck's thing, but it looks like things are getting dire. And now Tanner Bolt is approaching this as if this is still like a murder investigation. And it's all, the noose is tightening.
Right.
And then we come to at the 1 hour and 5 or 6 minute mark, a little, like right at the halfway point of the movie, the big shocking revelation happens. And in the movie, it's as well done. When I was reading the book, it was literally, when I read the book, I got to that point, I'm like, holy shit. Like, it was something I totally didn't see coming.
Right.
It is so well constructed. You
really don't know it's coming.
You really have no idea.
No.
And what's so great is it cuts to this very long black. It just cuts to black for a very long time. Like, from a movie, it's like a long stretch of black. It's really well done. They drag out this moment. And then you hear the amazing Amy talking.
Yes.
And you flash back to the beginning of the movie from her perspective.
Yes.
And you find out she's absolutely alive, and you watch her side of the story play out.
Yeah.
And she has completely, diabolically, connivingly created her whole. She's fabricated her own murder.
She has planned
meticulously
this from the moment they moved to Minnesota.
From the moment they moved to Minnesota, because
she was so unhappy.
And
what really set her off was when she discovered that her husband was having an affair, and that was it. And he made the same move on his girlfriend that he did on her.
And there is an incredible monologue that she gives that was right out of the book when she talks about being the cool girl. Like, all guys want to find the cool girl, the cool girl it's a long, beautifully rendered monologue about being the cool girl and how she did everything she could to be the cool girl and to convince, and it's it's just an awesome indictment of men and what women do to be the cool girl because they put themselves into this subservient position, and they try and be what the guy wants them to be rather than what they really are.
Yeah.
I love it because it's unsustainable. And if you're a guy that falls in love with a woman because she's a cool girl, you're doomed. I mean, it's this great indictment. In the book it was great.
Yeah.
And in the movie it's great the way and Rosamund Pike just fucking knocks it out of the park.
When he loses his job and she says he's lazy and, spent all her money, that's when she's like...
Yeah, because it was... He sold her a bill of goods and promised... He was the cool guy.
He was.
And she was the cool girl, and they were the cool people.
The funny thing is they both were playing this game of trying to be cool for each other.
Right, trying to be cool for each other. They were basically, in a way, they were lying to each other.
They were lying to each other.
They were lying to one another, and Gillian Flynn has said that this movie is about when two people realize they're lying to each other, then it becomes a mutually assured destruction. Like,
yes.
there are people, and it's a really interesting commentary on relationships and marriage and life. But we also realize that Amazing Amy is a fucking psychopath. I mean, and I have to say, my favorite psychopath, as you know, I've got a quarter scale figure of her right up there.
Oh, let's get her.
No. She's very delicate. No,
man.
Not because I'm weirdly attracted to her or anything like that. She's
To a
literally,
statue?
she's a polystone statue. I've already broken her hand once. No.
You broke her hand?
You saw, remember her thumb came off? Come on, I fixed it. There's no way. Catherine Trammell is my favorite female psychopath, femme fatale. Actually, my first is Anne Baxter in All About Eve. But that's...
Oh, yes.
But Catherine Trammell's my second. But Amazing Amy, Rosamund Pike, she is awesome.
All I have to say about that is don't fuck with cats.
Don't fuck with cats. That's right.
Watch it. It's on Netflix.
Don't fuck with cats. But, and Kathleen Turner's pretty great, too. But in Body Heat. But Rosamund Pike and her... the way she does all this, it's so great.
She's so devious.
And if you want a femme fatale in a movie, the smarter and the more diabolical, the better.
Oh, psychopaths are very smart.
I mean, she goes and buys a cheap beater car, and I mean, at one point she hits herself in the face with a hammer to get a bruise. She's totally calculating. She's planned this for like years.
Yeah, she has. She's planned this for
a
couple years.
It's so great. And again, David Fincher, if you want to go into Fincherisms, the same way that John Doe in Seven had planned this insane... I mean, Fincher's obviously, he really likes his psychos.
Oh, he did Seven too?
Yeah.
Oh, I love
and the way John Doe planned out, he meticulously planned out this plan. And so she's done this thing. I mean, she's getting him back.
She is.
And she's left no...
Yeah, she's like, okay, what is she... Oh, she words it so well. You murdered me. You murdered my self, my person. Therefore, you need to suffer the consequences of that.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
So she wants him to go to prison.
Yeah,
Even though she's not physically murdered.
No, she's gonna
accuses him of murdering her.
Yeah, and that's the best part about it.
I understand that.
Because from a philosophical standpoint, the best villains are the villains that you understand. And she does have a point.
Yeah.
She does have a point. Ben Affleck perhaps maybe not deserves this fate, but deserves a fate.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve to go to prison for murder, but I mean, I know that feeling of having your self taken away, basically.
Yeah. And
eroded away over the years.
And you're trapped, and you're doing everything you can to try and get, but that person is not reciprocating.
Yeah.
And then you've done everything, and he runs off and get a younger model cool girl.
Runs off with a student.
A student, which is the ultimate. I mean, it's the ultimate thing. I mean, going after a student when you're a teacher is the ultimate example of low-hanging fruit. There's nothing more manipulative, and you're
absolutely.
You're a fucking asshole if you do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless it's turned around and you have an older female teacher that goes for you as a younger male student, then it's all good.
What?
What? I'm just kidding.
Wow, is that like a fantasy of yours?
No.
Huh?
Why would it be a fantasy?
Fantasy? Oh, is that
I'm
what
just
happened?
kidding. I'm just kidding. No.
Oh, give me the dish.
No, I have no dish.
Who was this teacher?
I was just saying it. I have no teacher. I had a crush on a teacher once in high school, but that was it.
And did she like reciprocate?
No. No. I mean, let me tell you, if I had a high school teacher that I was boning, I would tell you. I would tell everybody. I'm like, guess what happened to me in high school? Yeah! Come on. That would have been fantastic.
That's true. You would have told me.
No, but I'm just saying that is the ultimate betrayal. Because not only are you having an affair, like, if you're going to have an affair with some amazing
that's
woman...
an abuse of power. When you're a teacher, like, you have power over those they're learning from you.
It's also
That's just sick.
It's also the ultimate capitulation. I mean, how much effort does it take to get a student to fall in love with you when you're in a position of authority? It's so lame, and
it's so lame. It is lame.
It is lame.
I know this from experience.
But what's so great about it? It's the total.
Just need validation from these young girls. It's disgusting.
It's the total culmination of just how far Ben Affleck has really fallen. You know, but I love that. And then you, as the audience, when you're watching this movie, you're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you really do that?
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is she takes shelter in like this weird like motel with bungalows and stuff, and she meets two people. She meets these two, like this couple, this kind of...
Yeah, it feels like a summer camp kind of place.
Yeah. But you feel
like
this...
these cabins and like there's mini golf there and a pool and
they say they're in the Ozarks, so maybe they know Marty.
That's the Ozarks?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what they say. But so... And what's really interesting is, and again, another reason why this movie is really good is because you think that she's hanging out here and she's made some friends.
Right.
But they know she's got money. She drops some money.
She drops it when they're playing mini golf, but they're not really she's a psychopath, so she just uses it for her own, need for attention.
And
she even spits in the girl's
drink. Yeah, she's so bad. But what's so great about it...
I love that girl. That girl was in Mozart in the Jungle. Love that show. And she's another... She's great
in the movie. Well, she's great in the movie, too. She's great in that movie. But what's so great is, again, what I love about this film is the best laid plans of mice and men. You have seen Amazing Amy. She's planned this thing out meticulously. What she did not plan on is some outside force.
Yep.
Some, like there's an old saying that I love, that no battle plan survives contact with the enemy. Because you might have the greatest plan in the world, but when you confront the enemy, you're fucked. Basically, all battle plans. Look, you can have battle plans.
There's things going on in the world that you have no control over.
There is randomness and craziness that you can plan for as much as you want, but something will foobar. It'll happen.
Absolutely.
And these people come in and they steal all of her money. She has nothing left except change. So everything that she was going to go do and all, she's fucked.
Yeah. She has no money. So she has to resort to calling.
Well, she does what all great men or women on the battlefield know how to do, is once your battle plan goes pear-shaped, you improvise.
Yeah.
And she does. She improvises, and she calls Neil Patrick Harris.
She does.
And then we find out, and of course, Ben Affleck had visited Neil Patrick Harris.
He had visited him to ask him... Well, initially he visited the first guy, or the latest guy that she... supposedly
that raped her.
Yeah, so she accused him of raping
she's done
her.
this before. She has a pattern.
She's a pattern.
Just like Catherine Trammell in Basic Instinct, she has a pattern of doing this. So you know that her parents...
She ruined his life. She made up this story that he had raped her.
Yeah.
And so Ben Affleck finds that out, and then he goes and sees MPH, and
who spurns him. Says, I don't want anything to do with you.
He asks him, so what's the real story here? And he just doesn't even answer.
But it's so great. So she's got no money. She calls him and has him meet her in some Ozark casino that I'm convinced the cast of Ozark.
That must be Marty's.
Yeah,
casino.
Marty. I want to think it's Marty's. It's Marty's
Was
casino.
Was it a floating casino?
I don't know. You don't know. But he comes and meets her, and then he takes her home.
He takes her to his home in the forest.
Yeah, this lake house. He's incredibly wealthy, and this house is unbelievable.
He takes her to the lake house so she can be, secluded.
And what's awesome, another thing they do that I love in this movie, is that she's let herself get a little plump, like you see in her face, the makeup.
Yeah.
And he's like...
Well, she's been eating... this whole time she's been eating chips, because she thought she was going to actually commit suicide so that it would really prove that he murdered her.
Yeah, but
she was planning that, and then she starts backing out of that.
Yeah, I don't think she would ever have done it. Maybe.
I don't think
she thinks about doing it.
But she thinks, she puts it on her calendar, okay, kill myself. And she even says, she wants to be found at the bottom of the lake, and that he get blamed for it.
Right. But
a psychopath, no, she would never, but she thinks she's going to do that.
Yeah, she thinks she's going to do that. Well, what's so great was when she meets Neil Patrick Harris. Neil Patrick Harris is kind of disappointed in how she looks. She looks frumpy, and he's like, let me get you some makeup, and I'll get you something. He wants her to be like, he himself had this, you find out they had this weird, twisted 2-year relationship where he ended up in a mental asylum and all that, because she fucked with him too.
Yes, she did.
But he wants her to be the way she was in his mind. Like, I need you to be the amazing Amy that I fell in love with, that I'm obsessed with. And
she's his Daisy.
Yes. Ooh, nice reference. She's his Daisy.
She's his Daisy.
Cheers to that reference. Woo! And so... there's this. You realize that he's a freak too. Like there's weirdness going on.
He's very weird.
He's very weird, but it's
controlling.
It's subtle, but yeah, he's also a dude that isn't really interested in who she is as a person.
Right.
He is interested in his idealized version of who she is.
Right.
So he wants his cool girl too.
Yes.
And she's totally aware of that and plays off on that.
Absolutely. She's super smart, and she manipulates everything and everyone.
Oh, it's great. And then she's planning on his demise. You don't quite know what she's planning, but she spills wine on her crotch, and then she goes where she knows the cameras are, and she's writhing around so there's evidence that looks like, because she's going to play out
it looks like he raped her.
Some rape scenario, yeah.
You're like, oh, she's going to do it again with the rape thing.
And then in the meantime, Ben Affleck is becoming a national cause celeb. They're talking about him on various shows.
They are, but then he does this amazing...
Well, Celia Ward, the great Celia Ward. There's nothing that Celia Ward doesn't make better when she's in a movie. She doesn't have a big part in this, but she plays one of these big... She's got a talk show, and so he's going to go on the talk show, and... He's being coached by Tyler Perry to go on this show.
He goes on there.
And Tyler Perry says, look, we need to get out in front before anyone knows you've had an affair publicly. And right before he's going to go on the show, the girl that he had the affair with comes out.
She does.
With the amazing Amy's parents and admits that she was fucking him the whole time.
Right. And they think, oh, no, that's it. You're not going to be able to fix this. But Ben Affleck's like, no, don't worry, I got this.
But now they know that Ben Affleck and Tyler Perry, he knows... After everything that goes on, that she's played them. She's set all this up. They know by this time. So Ben Affleck's like, no, I'm going to go on this show because now it's my turn to turn the tables on her.
Right.
By telling her things, by making references to things that only she would know.
And he's smart too, and he knows exactly what to say.
What she needed to hear.
Yes. And plus he makes the public change their opinion of him because he acts like, oh yeah, you're right, I'm a horrible man.
Yep.
I cheated on my wife. That's a horrible thing to do. I'm so sorry I did it.
Well, what's so great, another aspect of this movie that makes it awesome is the whole cancel culture. Even though this was made in 2014, it's just as relevant now.
Yeah.
You could be pilloried for being a horrible person, but you can go on TV. And if
people change their opinions like that.
Yes,
at the drop of a hat.
And again, it's not in your face. I mean, it's absolutely there, but it has the commentary on our media and crimes and people absolving themselves. It's just done in such an elegant way.
People are so quick to judge, and this movie really points that out.
It's I can't stress enough how much. I mean, I wish Hollywood was making these kinds of popular book adaptations all the time. And they have tried. Like The Girl on the Train, or The Girl in the Window, or The Girl with the whatever.
Yeah.
The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Gone Girl are the two movies. I mean, Fincher directed them both domestically. He directed
Isn't The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, isn't that based off the Swedish?
Yeah, but he directed that movie too.
The Swedish one?
No, he didn't direct the Swedish one. He
Oh.
directed, but
Yeah,
or maybe
I liked the
I wonder
Swedish
if he
one
did
better.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo after this. I think he did before this.
I don't know.
I
I think
don't
it was
remember.
before. It was
I think it
definitely
was
before this.
So, but anyway, he likes that. I love these because studios used to be so good at making this movie was made for $61 million that they could make these literary adaptations that were so good. And this
Yeah.
movie is so good. It has
It
so
is.
much
It's
to
so
say.
Now there are a few loopholes and issues that I have with it, but overall, what an amazing story.
Well, and then you get to this when she goes full on psycho. Where she
Yes,
basically
full on psycho.
She fucks a wine bottle.
She does,
And
yes.
she wants to get a little of that vaginal tear action going.
She wants to tear it
and
so
then,
that it looks
and
like
then
rape.
Neil Patrick Harris comes home and she seduces him.
She
It
does.
looks like she's wearing some like La Perla. That is some sweet lingerie she has on. Those panties
he
and that
bought
bra.
it for her,
Yeah, so
so-
it's got to be like some expensive, La Perla or
Oh,
whatever.
and here's another thing. Okay,
It's not
So
big.
she goes from frumpy hair that she cut herself to this amazing bob. And when I first saw this movie, I was like, oh my god, that is a Vidal Sassoon bob. There's no way nobody has done this bob except a Vidal Sassoon trained stylist. And a few days later, I see on social media that it was my teacher at Vidal Sassoon who did that bob.
Wow.
I was like, there's no way. How did she do that bob to herself?
Well, look, and I was saying, I don't see that because they've spent now a couple weeks together. So I believe that maybe Neil Patrick Harris knew somebody and could take her out and get her hair done because he's that.
He didn't take her anywhere.
Well, then he brings a stylist. You do house calls. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that somebody that's that rich brings in, and I need your ultimate discretion. I'm going to pay you $2,000. Do a Vidal Sassoon bob.
Okay, I will choose to believe that.
That's how I got to look at
Because
it.
there's no way she cut her own hair like that.
No, she can't. You can't cut
There's
your
no
bob.
way.
No, that's why
That
I think
was a perfect
he's a rich
bob.
dude. I know that, but that's a detail that I wouldn't have picked up on. So kudos. Let's cheers to that. Cheers to that detail because I wouldn't have picked up on that. So he comes home. She seduces him, gets him into bed, and they're having sex. Mm-hmm. And I guess he.
She's like, harder.
Yeah, harder. Gets him to climax. And at the moment
Right when he's climaxing,
she takes a box cutter and
out
slits
from under
his
the pillow
throat.
and then the blood.
It's awesome.
It is so gory.
I mean, it is so awesome. It's such a great. But then she's gone around. She's a full-on around the bend murderous psycho. But
she is psycho.
but you'd want her on the battlefield because her improvisational skills are second to none.
Oh, it's not improvisation. She plans. She is a meticulous planner.
But she didn't plan until she got there. She didn't know she was going to wind up at his house. But once she got to his
Right,
house,
but it took her several days to.
well, yeah, but still, I mean, that's improvisation.
That's not. She planned that.
No,
shit.
but I mean, she came up with a new plan and was able to come up with all this
Right,
on the
but
fly.
it was highly planned. There was no improvisation.
No, what I mean is, once she called Neil Patrick Harris, which was her improvisation, because she wasn't expecting to do that.
Well, right.
Once she lost her money, when she got there, she came up with a new plan.
Oh, right away. Once
And-
he brought
and
her to
that's
that
what
house,
I mean. I mean-
she was already planning how she was going to get out of that.
Let me tell you, if ever I wanted to drop somebody behind enemy lines to get some shit done, I would
Here's
call.
my question. Why did, after she murdered him, why did she go home? Why didn't she just take his money? He had tons of it.
Because, no, she didn't have that access. She didn't have access to his credit card. She didn't know what she knows.
Didn't he have a wallet?
Doesn't matter. She's not going to get very far.
True.
Because he's made her look like herself.
That's true.
She's now the most famous woman in America. She can't go anywhere with it. She's the amazing Amy. The world knows who she is. She can't.
Yeah.
She has
Yeah,
no
yeah,
choice.
yeah. Okay, you're
her
right.
the fame. So what does she do in the ultimate improv? She goes back home.
She goes back home. Yeah, which is weird. She goes back home drenched in blood. It's 2 hours away, by the way.
But she has to.
Yeah.
I mean, she's getting the
Well,
maximum
she
effect.
could have had the same effect if she had called the police. And
Not with all the... No way, not with all of the reporters there.
the scene of a crime.
No. Yes, you do. Because, come on. I mean,
Okay, fine.
She has to
drives
show up in
home.
front of all of the press. She's been watching herself for weeks now.
Right. It's all about getting the attention.
She goes home and she makes a big show of it. Ben Affleck comes out and they all know that she's completely full of shit.
Yeah, he hugs her and he's like, you bitch.
It's so great. It's so great. And then of course there's kind of a long protracted ending
Well,
where
she goes to the hospital and they do the rape kit and all that, but then she has this press conference and she still has blood all over her. Like, what the hell?
No, it's
No, I'm sorry.
Look, they can't take the blood.
Really bothered me.
All of that's evidence.
No, they could have taken the evidence and then that's how it works.
Well,
they take the evidence and then right away you get to shower.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, because raped women are traumatized.
How do you
They
know
don't want
this?
to keep that blood all over them.
Right, but then look. She does. She wants to make a show of it.
Of course she does, but there's no way. They would have been like done the taken the swabs and all that,
All right.
and then they would have been like, take a shower.
This doesn't.
No, she's got blood all over. They just put scrubs on her and wheel her out for an interview.
She's sedated.
No, that's like ridiculous.
Not. She's not being interviewed.
I found that part
It wasn't
really ridiculous.
No, it was.
And then she goes home with all that blood on her.
Okay, first of all, it wasn't a press conference. There's the FBI there. There's the
Whatever
local.
it was.
There's Kim's there.
It was because there
Deputy
was press.
Almost Famous is there.
There
Patrick
was
Fugit
press
is there.
and there were detectives,
Not-
and that
not-
wouldn't have happened
no,
either.
not in
the detectives would have been there and not the press.
All right, I'm not gonna. I didn't bump on this. You bumped on it clearly more than I did.
Yeah, because it bothered me. Like, why would you sit there with blood all over
there's
you?
no press there. She's sedated.
There was press.
No, there wasn't, and she's trying to
Watch it again.
No, there's no. They don't let press.
There was press.
They're trying to get a statement from her. What happened? Tell us
Right.
what happened. And
the detectives were in the back, and in the front was a bunch of press.
No, there's no press. Not in this part. No, they're not letting her in. They have to find out what happened. You know, this guy's she murdered a dude, and she's pretending. It was great. She gives him a bunch of bullshit, and Ben Affleck and Kim.
Then who were all those people there?
Those are all. It was local police and national police. It was the FBI.
No, there were people with cameras and microphones.
No, not there. There were.
Yes, there were.
Not in the hospital.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again right after this.
Not in the hospital.
Yes, there were. There were so many people there.
Okay, you know
what?
what?
And the detective is in the back, and she's like questioning, and she's like,
Okay, this is what you're bumping on?
Yeah. Yeah,
After
it
all
really
this?
bugged me. She was covered in blood. That was ridiculous.
You're like my mom saying that Indiana Jones couldn't hang on the back of the truck in
Well, he
Raiders of the Lost
couldn't.
Ark because the gravel would go in his mouth.
It would go in his mouth.
This is not like
and
that.
And he'd get all like road rash.
This is not like that. It's not like that. I believe it. I thought this movie had great verisimilitude. I loved it.
There are moments like the Bob and
Okay, so she goes home.
and the press conference.
Okay, so
and her going home with blood all over her. Like, that's ridiculous.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Look, I'm just saying. All right.
You don't send a victim home with blood all over
Okay.
them.
We got to get to. So what else happens? She comes home, and now what's amazing and what my favorite, maybe not my favorite part, but it makes this movie. It takes this movie to the. It makes this movie amazing, like Amazing Amy herself, is that she wants to now try. Now that they've gone through this experience, she feels he's forged.
Well, because of the things he said when he was on camera.
You're the guy that I've always wanted now.
Now, like, that's clicked in her head, and she's like, oh, wait, he's back to being the guy that the fake guy that she connected with.
No, because she needed to light a fire under his ass. And this whole thing in her psychotic, crazy mind. I mean,
she's crazy.
She's a straight up murderer. She knows that he knows everything, and she's like, "You're a murderer. I'm gonna get the fuck out of Dodge." And she's like, "No, we now have the perfect marriage. We can live this way." And he's crazy, and his sister's crying like, "You must leave her," and blah blah blah. And the cops want to bust her. Detective Kim,
the detective is on it,
and
but
Deputy Almost
she can't
Famous
do anything
want
about
her gone. I mean. There's nothing they can do.
Nothing they can do.
And then she presents him at one point with a gift. She's pregnant.
She's pregnant. She's
pregnant
freaking pregnant
with Neil Patrick Harris's kid.
Is it?
Well, because he hasn't touched her.
He hasn't touched her.
So-
He's been sleeping in the other room with the door locked.
So in the ultimate, it's
yeah,
so
but wait
great.
a second, though. Then why would he stay if he knows it's not his kid?
Because
no, I think they have because
No.
it's weeks and weeks and weeks later. It's
No,
like
he
months.
says, I haven't touched you.
Oh.
I haven't touched you. And then, because she's
but
got him over a barrel. She's got him, I mean, they could
Yeah,
do a paternity
right.
test or whatever, but
I
even
guess.
so,
I guess because
child of rape, child of trauma, she's got him. And he even says, I can't leave. I've got to be there for at least 18 years. He says that to his sister. It's amazing.
I would have left.
It's amazing.
She's so manipulative.
And
she
then,
finds a way to
but
keep
then
him
at
there.
the end, I mean, and he's trapped. I mean, he's in hell. She
He
is
is.
like her Mephistophelian way. I mean, she won.
Well, he should fake his death
Well, that's, I
and
mean,
run away.
Gone Boy.
Gone boy.
Where's that sequel, Jillian? Come on,
Gone
write
gu-
that shit,
Gone
son.
guy.
Gone Guy. Well, it's girl, boy. Girl, guy. I guess it could
Guy.
be girl. You know,
Gone
okay.
guy.
It was, so, what did you think of this movie?
This movie is so good. I really love this movie, despite the few things that I have issues with.
All right.
It's really intelligent. It's really it sucks you in. You want to keep watching, and that when you find out that she's still alive and she's been manipulating the whole situation, it's like whoa,
It's the best.
intense.
It's the best.
It's pretty amazing.
Now, we have people here who sent us questions and things and statements, and once again, I should have turned the air conditioning on.
Yes, you should have.
So let's see what people have to say about Gone Girl. Let's see. Richard Ganther sends in a tip and says, Rosamund Pike delivers a career-defining performance, and what a powerhouse cast overall. Affleck, Pike, Perry, Kuhn, Neil Patrick Harris, and the list goes on. Much love to you both and the entire Post-Geek Singularity. Well, thank you for that, Richard Ganther.
Love to you too.
Here's to you. Cheers to Richard.
Cheers.
Thanks for that. And Kaz is here. Kaz Graphics sends a very generous super chat. Thank you for that, Kaz.
Thank you.
This movie is like if they showed how Sharon Stone set up everything in Basic Instinct. Ooh, I like that. That is a very astute thing to say,
Yes.
Kaz. You're absolutely
Can
right.
we get her?
No.
She's just right there.
It's too fragile.
I
Please,
see her legs.
Please, no. It's a statue. It's
I'm
not a
sure
figure.
everyone wants to see
No,
her.
no. They can look it up.
It's a pretty amazing statue.
No.
And you know how I feel about
no,
statues.
No.
Then can-
Please, no.
Then can we get the Ben Affleck Batman?
No.
Where is he?
No, we can't get the Ben Affleck Batman.
Where is he?
He's too far away.
Where?
Come on, man. No.
Is he in a box?
He's in a box. You're not going to take him out. Plus,
Free the toys!
yeah, no. Come on, man.
Hashtag free the toys.
Hey, Claudius is here. Gone Claudius sends in a tip and says, Bonsoir, Elizabeth E. Robert. Another great character, the genius-level psychopath Alex Morgan played in The Great Ruth Wilson in BBC's Luther. Ooh, that's Luther starring Idris Elba. That's a show we have to watch. You haven't seen Luther, have you?
Oh, no, I
It's
haven't.
so good. And by the way, Claudius is absolutely right. Ruth Wilson is amazing. Amazing.
Thanks for the wine.
Yes, thanks for the wine.
It's really good.
Let's drink to you guys.
I actually have been to this winery.
Oh, have you? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. Richard Ganther sends in another super chat. Thank you so much. Nick and Amy are the pro-antagonists. There's no reason for Neil Patrick Harris's character or Margot or Tyler Perry's detective to be so multi-dimensional and layered, yet here it is, one of the best book-to-film adaptations ever.
Yes.
Richard, I want to agree with you about it's one of the best adaptations ever, but every movie should have characters, even if they're small
Yeah.
parts, that multi-dimensional and layered.
Yes, I
You know,
agree.
they used to do that in films, and that is, I think it's really important. I think that's the mark
is.
of a great, great, great film. So, thanks for supporting the channel, by the way. But you're right. They're both pro-antagonists. The protagonist, and they switch.
Yes.
It's so great. It's so great.
so true.
And by the way, you know, you read a lot of reviews of this movie. Some people said, well, it's a postmodern film because it deals with unreality. And I'm like, all movies are not real. They're all contrived
Wait
to a certain
second.
way.
There really are psychopaths that are this devious.
Oh, I know, but the whole setup and everything that happens. I mean, it's a movie, and it's a good movie. Question. Gillian Flynn says, unconditional love is an undisciplined love, and as we've all seen, undisciplined love is disastrous. Do you agree?
Undisciplined. How are you seeing undisciplined love connected to unconditional love?
Well, they're very different. Undisciplined is a love, I think, where you allow yourself to be consumed by it.
Yeah.
Like Neil Patrick Harris was going to go down the undisciplined love.
Yeah, I don't think they're the same thing. Unconditional love is you love that person no matter what. And that's the kind of love that parents have for their children.
Yeah, because I think unconditional love, like you're talking about love for a parent and a child, you are disciplined. I mean, even though you'll do everything for that child.
You do discipline them, but you love them no matter what.
Yeah.
And you let them fail, and you love them despite all their failures. It helps them grow. I don't know how that relates to undisciplined love.
Well, no, what Claude is saying, the author of the book, Gillian Flynn, the writer of the screenplay, said that unconditional love is an undisciplined love.
Oh, she says that.
Yeah. I mean, unconditional love is I don't think that's true. I don't
think that's true at all.
I think that undisciplined love is when you allow your crazy love of somebody to run away with you.
I agree with that, but I don't think they're the same thing at all. I think they're opposites, actually.
So you could be objecting to what the writer of this movie would say.
Even though I love this movie.
Oh. Richard Ganther said, I meant to say multi-dimensional. Forgive me, I've been whining along. Normally, I wouldn't spend $10 to defend my own ego, but hey, it's for a good cause. Thanks for all the two of you do. Well, thanks, Richard.
Well, yes.
Remember, it keeps us in our cups.
It does.
It does. And we do put the money back into
we have
shows
to buy wine.
And also, you're going to a very expensive school.
I am.
A very expensive school. So thank you for that. Royce Freeman sends in a super chat and says, in today's social climate and being aware, can you tell the story of an evil, cruel woman villain without being labeled insensitive or sexist? Well, I would say absolutely. But you're right. I mean, is this movie going to get canceled because of its unfavorable portrayal of women?
Yeah, that's...
but I think that's, our civilization, the way we're at now, I think it is a very superficial and immature way that we have of dealing with people. If they say something or do something, or we go after people for perceived transgressions, it's so easy to just jump on and pile on. And I think this movie talks a little bit about that, because everybody certainly does that to Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Everybody's like, Ben Affleck, and yet Ben Affleck isn't all goody two-shoes. He did have an affair on his wife. He is not a good person necessarily. He was a lazy guy. He did portray himself.
But that doesn't make you a criminal.
Well, that doesn't make you a murderer either.
Yeah.
And yet our civilization and society and our culture...
We're so quick to condemn now.
And not only quick to condemn, we enjoy doing it.
Yes.
We enjoy doing it, and I think this movie is as much of an indictment as anything else.
Yeah.
We would rather go after people and wallow in the muck than elevate ourselves and be better. Be smarter.
It's funny, because I'm doing a series of paintings about this very issue. Because it just... Being in school with younger
people who have scholarships that also claim they're Marxists.
It's very interesting, let me tell you. It's very interesting.
I mean, you said something so funny to me today. You said, if you're a Marxist and you have a full scholarship, wouldn't that mean you would distribute your scholarship amongst the entire class?
Well, share that with the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's look.
but then she wants to. Okay, I don't want to.
This knee-jerk, reactionary Instagram justice is the antithesis of the United States, and it is leading us down a path that I hope we can recover from.
Yeah.
I really do, and this movie addresses that.
It does.
It addresses that. And let me tell you, in my life, I've learned a truism.
Yeah.
Women can be just as devious and evil and conniving and hurtful as men can.
It's true.
And that's part of our evolution.
Yeah.
And God bless them for it.
And actually, Yeah, well, I won't get into that.
Alexander Wilson says, I loved Gone Girl, but my girlfriend hated this movie.
Oh. Interesting.
Swack Cal is here. Swack Prop says, do you guys think this movie needs a disclaimer before and a heated discussion after? Like every movie? Yeah, like every movie. No, you know what I think? Adults can watch things and make up their own minds.
Yes.
That's what an educated, enlightened society does.
Absolutely.
You know?
And the discussions are good after. Like, then you learn from each other.
Like this discussion right now.
Absolutely.
We're talking about it.
We are talking about it.
Because I grew up in a United States where I was expected to learn things and become well-rounded and have my own opinions and use logic and cogent thought to achieve a conclusion.
Yeah, it's why my father escaped a communist country, actually snuck across the border to get away from being, he wanted freedom. He came to this country so that he had the freedom of speech. And that was so important to him.
And now we have college students who want to be Marxists.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
Of course,
But then I can't say anything about it because...
Well, perhaps that's another show. Back to Gone Girl, ladies and gentlemen.
Show.
The world's greatest detective sent in a super chat and said, my favorite Rosamund Pike performance is her work in Hostiles. Christian Bale's best work, too. That's a Western. It's great. My favorite film of all time. Wow. Your heart breaks for her in that film. A complete 180 to Gone Girl. I think Rosamund Pike is one of the most exciting actresses working today.
She's beautiful.
She's amazing. She's beautiful and she's amazing. She's amazing. I totally agree. Two of Rosamund Pike's best performances are with two Batmen, Affleck first, then Bale in Hostiles. Very interesting.
Oh.
I didn't know that. That's why we do these shows. You find these things out.
Yeah. Interesting.
How do you pronounce this properly? It's a French name.
Oh, Guillaume.
Guillaume.
Even though I'm not speaking French until 30,000 subs, I will help you.
A name is okay. Guillaume,
because it's such a cool name.
And Guillaume Chazet?
Sure.
Come on, man. That's his actual name.
Yeah.
Which psycho from Fincher's movies are your favorite? Look, I gotta go with John Doe from Seven. Is my favorite. But, you've seen Fight Club and this. Have you seen Seven?
I have seen Seven.
What do you think about John Doe?
Yeah, he's pretty psycho. I love this character, though.
This character's great.
She's so psycho and devious.
She is so psycho and devious.
Yeah.
The world's greatest detective sends in another super chat and says, you're both amazing. Rob, the Caesar of cinematic brilliance. Elizabeth, the Empress of masterful storytelling. You're both masterful storytellers. Well,
wow,
let's drink to the world's greatest detective.
Huge compliment.
Thanks for that.
Storytelling is...
Tim is here. Timbula. Timbula. I say Timbula. I know John Campia says Timbula, but I like Timbula. I love this film, but I still wouldn't put it in my top 5 Fincher films. I'd go Seven, Fight Club, Social Network, The Game, Zodiac. You know what? He's not wrong. For me, I think it's Seven.
Except for Fight Club. I think I would put this in the place of Fight Club.
Well, I go Seven,
film,
Social Network, Zodiac.
Oh, I love The Game, though.
Yeah, I know.
I think I would put The Game before Social Network.
I love Social Network. That's interesting. See, for me, Zodiac is in his probably top 2. I'd go Seven, Zodiac, Social Network. The Social Network...
They're all good. How could you even number them? The
Social Network's one of the most rewatchable movies I've ever seen. I can watch that movie all
Yeah, you watch
time.
it a lot. Although I would put it at the end of that list.
All right, well... Royce Freeman said, and Basic Instinct got slandered and saying it painted Catherine and Roxy as bad and treated gay characters in an insensitive way. Well, Royce, it's interesting. Yeah, I was actually at the opening night of Basic Instinct, and I talked to some of the protesters who hadn't seen the film. They were out protesting that movie and had not seen it yet. They'd only heard things about it. And, in a way... when I saw the movie, and I know she was on Femme Fatales, but the actress that played Roxy, I felt sorry for Roxy, actually, in Basic Instinct, because Catherine Trammell, she might have been bisexual, but she was a manipulator. She was an equal opportunity manipulator, and she was friends with people that had done violence to others to figure out to get into their heads. So I think what's really interesting is, according to the world we live in now, everybody wants to portray everybody else as these nice, sensitive, perfect people, and that's ridiculous. Human history has shown we're all fucked up in some way. And the whole reason that you tell stories is to illuminate basic human truths. And if we were to take away all the messed up people in the stories that we tell, like, are you going to say that Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest represents all nurses? And, like, you're not being fair to the nursing profession because R.P. McReady and R.P. McMurphy and the battle of wills he gets into with Nurse Ratched means you can't portray a nurse that way? Fucking grow up. Grow up. Read a book. Get a life. I mean, if you don't want to watch stories, great, don't. If you don't want to read books, I don't care. But don't get involved, or don't try and ruin art for others. Be smarter. Be better. I mean, if you're going out and going after everyone else, take a long, hard look in the mirror. That's what I say.
Yes.
Goddamn right.
I second that.
Let's drink to me. Thank you.
Let's drink to you. And also, if you like Basic Instinct, please watch Don't Fuck with Cats.
Yeah. Alexander Wilson says, Elizabeth looks very delectable today. Rob,
Well,
you're a very
thank
lucky
you.
man. Now I know why Rob is always sweaty during his shows. I'm only sweaty during these shows because we don't turn the air conditioning on in here.
Aw, come on, man.
Okay, come on, babe. I'm sweaty because you make me sweaty. I've only been sweating the last 2 shows, to be honest. But I'm very sweaty tonight on this show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Claudius at Tiffany's. Oh, can't say that. You're going to get canceled for making a Breakfast at Tiffany's reference. Oh, man. J'ai encore une question. Was their love real? Is their commitment as worthwhile as any other? Good question. What do you think?
No, their love was not real. It was based on
You don't think at first it was?
No, they weren't even being themselves. They even say that.
But don't you think that they recognized that each... Well, yes, but they both genuinely loved... Everybody wants to believe in the prince, the fairy tale.
Yeah, but no, you're in love with this fake person.
Yeah, but isn't everybody like that? Isn't everybody on their best behavior?
At first, you're like, you try to be the best person that you...
And then in the back of your mind, don't we all know?
As time goes by, you start letting your real self show.
But there's still...
And that's when the real love comes in play. When you can accept the person the way they are and love them.
Okay, well, so Claude's question is...
She could not accept his real self.
But he wasn't... Look, I would also argue that in the movie, he wasn't his real self because he'd lost his job. He had been emasculated in some way. And rather than be there...
Right, but if she really loved him, she would have supported him through that.
Yeah, she would have.
And not
Maybe.
built this resentment towards him.
But then if he really loved her, he wouldn't be such a deadbeat, and he might hit the pavement and go get a job.
That's true.
I can't
They
believe we're
both
arguing.
let
I
each
can't
other
believe
down.
I'm arguing for the deadbeat dude to go out and get a job, and you're saying if he really loved him, he would have let him stay home
I
and
know,
play video
right?
games and
Whoa.
support him. See, life is it's a spectrum of all kinds of behavior. It's never so simple.
I'm saying you can really love a person and yet encourage them to do the right thing.
That's true.
And she harbored resentment.
Well, yeah, she was crazy.
She was crazy.
That's a good thing. Richard Ganther sends in an extremely generous tip. Thank you, sir. I mean, you've been very generous tonight. Richard says, just want to throw one more bit of support your way. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
As a fellow cinephile and a student in his first year of pursuing a film reviewing career, words cannot express the value of the insights I find in your discussions of film.
Well,
Thank you again.
That's awesome.
Well, Richard, that's very nice of you. Wow, I don't know what to say about that.
That's pretty cool.
I'm glad that somebody who's actually...
I mean, Rob's been doing this for a long time, so that means a lot to me hearing that, because I've only been doing this for 41 shows.
episodes. 41 hours.
We've always discussed films together, but to this depth where we're publicly talking about these films, this is new to me.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Well, so cheers to Richard.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
By the way, please, when you start whatever you're going to do, whether you're going to be writing or doing video reviews, please stay in touch and make sure I can promote whatever you're doing as well, because I love promoting other people's work and channels.
Yes, very cool.
So, oh, good. Timbula, I knew I got the pronunciation right. Timbula the Spider Monkey says, you've got the pronunciation right. One day I'll tell you the story of how I got the name.
Well, that's a first.
Well, thanks. Look, man, I don't speak French. You can make fun of my pronunciation all the time.
Yeah, but
I mean,
with all names, you're like struggling.
Yeah, but I try and get it right.
It's adorable, babe.
I try and get it right.
I like it.
I try and get it right.
It's cute.
Well, listen, we're over time.
Wow.
So we've gotten to the point in the show where we have our scale, our bottoms up scale. Why don't you explain hang on?
We have our bottoms up scale, which is from 1 to 4.
1 to 4.
Because there are 4 glasses of wine in
right.
a bottle.
In a bottle. And so, Elizabeth, on a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the most, what would you give Gone Girl?
I will give this a 3.75.
See, now, 3.75. I'm going to explain. I feel the need to explain something about how I rate films. So, when I'm watching a movie and I'm judging a movie on a scale of 1 to 4, I'm taking into consideration what that movie set out to do.
Yes.
So, as you know, right back there, like we just got Lawrence of Arabia on 4K.
Let's watch it.
We can, but Lawrence of Arabia is definitely a 4 glass of wine movie.
I haven't watched it since who knows
but on a scale of that, for what Lawrence of Arabia tried to do, it did it masterfully. I think for what this movie set out to do, and the fact that it had the actual writer of the novel was the writer of the screenplay,
right.
and this great airport read, I think as an adaptation of the original source material, I'm going to give this movie 4 glasses of wine because it is such a brilliant realization of the material, and they succeeded in doing exactly what they set out to do. And that's why when people say, you know, well, on a scale of 1 to 100 in the AFI 100 greatest movies, I mean, you could do that, but for me, I'm always trying to judge a movie on its own merits, and does the movie succeed? And I think this movie succeeds in everything it set out to do admirably. I wouldn't have changed a frame of this movie.
I have a couple hang-ups with the Bob and the blood. She goes home with blood.
So that doesn't bother me.
That I can't give it a 4. It just bothers me.
See, this is something that as a dude I would never have seen those. In my mind, I could say that he probably brought people to his house.
No, because nobody is supposed to know that
she's
even alive.
He's a really rich dude, so he can pay for and get whatever he wants.
No.
See, I don't have a problem with that.
I do, because she's hiding. She's hiding in his lake house.
He's rich. He's got people that are hiding things for him. He hires somebody. Listen, I need somebody who's discreet. No. Every movie, all you have to do is pay somebody enough.
Why does she have blood on her after she's been raped? And she does what's the word I used?
A rape kit? No, I don't know. Look, I don't know.
Where you said that it was just cops, but it wasn't.
It was cops.
It was press there.
They're
press release.
They're not going to
Why does she do a press release and then go home with
press
blood?
Conference? She's not doing a press conference.
But she is
being questioned by the authorities.
There's press there, and she's blood all, and then she goes home with blood all over her.
This is not something.
He did that because he wanted that dramatic moment when she's in the shower and that shot of the blood going down the drain.
Okay, we're not going to relitigate this now.
I'm just saying that's why it has a 3.75.
Okay, I'm giving it a 4-star. I can explain it away in my mind. I don't have a problem with these.
I have a problem with that.
But okay, that's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's an interesting. This is why men and women are different. These are details that you were noticing that I give a pass to, and it's good to know these things.
No pass.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of.
And next week, Sci-Fi Week.
Sci-Fi Week, we're gonna watch AI on Monday, Ex Machina on Wednesday, and for Romantic Friday, Passengers. Wow. There we go. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank the support that everyone gives us. I want to thank everybody who writes letters and generously supports the channel through super chats and tips. Thank you so much, and watching and spreading the word on the show. And again, the Richard and Haynock and Greg Smith and Mike Bodden and Jordy Lyons and all the moderation staff. I would encourage everybody to go to the Post-Geek Singularity Facebook page on Facebook. and the WINEning About Movies Facebook page, where the Richard is always running some kind of interesting viewing party of something.
Yes.
And we want to thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And what do we say?
Everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear.
The amazing Amy certainly had a story to tell.
She sure did. All you have to do is listen.
All you have to do is listen. And what else?
Have a better night.
Have a better night. We will be back on Monday with Steven Spielberg by way of Stanley Kubrick's AI. And
I picked that, by the way.
You did pick that. That should be an interesting film to go and watch. I'm a fan. I like talking about that movie. What do you know, Gigolo Joe? Yeah. Jude Law's in that movie. You love Jude Law. He plays Gigolo Joe.
I love Jude Law.
Anyway, thanks for being with us, and thanks for whining with us. Right back at you. Cheers.
Cheers.